So let's get into these previews. We're going to go ahead and start with what we think the table is going to be. So we'll start off with what we believe. And going from top to bottom, we have Louisville City in first, Charleston second, Tampa Bay in third, Pittsburgh in fourth, the Detroit City in fifth, Rhode Island in sixth, Loudoun in seventh, Hartford in eighth. Legion are our first team out at ninth, Indy 11 and 10th, the Miami FC in 12th. You got Brooklyn, or sorry, in 11th, got Brooklyn in 12th, and you got the other new boys, Sporting Jacks, down there getting the wooden spoon. But how do we differ from the fans? Well, the fans, they think it's going to be Louisville in first, Charleston in second, Pittsburgh in third, Tampa Bay in fourth, Rhode Island in fifth, Detroit City in sixth, Hartford in seventh, Indy in eighth, Loudoun down in ninth, our first team out, Legion in 10th, Brooklyn in 11th, Sporting Jackson 12th, and the Miami FC in last. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get into the preview. Rhode Island. Hey, Rhode Island FC, they started hot in 2025. Well, kind of. They kept drawing their way through games, and then they made the playoffs and went to the finals on a magical run. And then it felt like everything had a little bit of a giddy up, like the just a little bit of a hitch. Just what wasn't quite getting going for Rhode Island. Will they finally get production from the 10? Are they going to be able to get someone to score from zone 14, or is this just going to be another black hole this year?
I like how they have moved in the offseason. It is getting rid of Dikwa, getting rid of Maxi, guys who are great players on their day and in the right system, but just felt like they were bogging this attack down, not moving enough without the ball, being slow when they did get touches. Then you get in Dwayne Atkinson with the full season. You've got Leo Alfonso making runs off of JJ Williams. I've come around hard for Amo Shapiro-Thompson. I don't actually know if he's going to be like a constant starter for this team. Time will tell. He's a great glue guy. But the sheer amount of options and speed they've got up front is a real change year over year. To me, that feels like kind of what I was saying with Detroit. Like something is going to stick here. You know JJ Williams is good. Fuson has the upside. And then it's a lot of guys who you can make an argument for.
Yeah, like the whiplash that Rhode Island fans probably had to experience from their just goal production from the first season that they were in the league. They were the third highest scoring team in the Eastern Conference, to then their next season or their season last year to just drop down to just 29 goals scored on the season. Like that was the same number of goals that Miami scored on the year. Had to be just a completely tonal difference from what you saw from 2024 to 2025. However, that defense was still very good. They only allowed 29 goals on the season, which is incredible across the entire year. So it will be interesting to see what this Rhode Island team looks like entering this year. This was a team who, in 2/3 of their regular season games last season, experienced a game under 2.5 total goals for the year or for the game.
Listen, I'm sure Coach Connor Smith could tell me a reason, and I would end up agreeing with him because he's a lot smarter than I am. But please never play Clay Holstad at right wing back ever again. Let him start in the midfield and let him cook. That's kind of where I am.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. And the idea of Clay Holstad playing next to Hugo Bacharach, that is a lot of ball carriage and physicality and ability to step up and be that water carrier. That as a tandem is so clear to me that I really love it. And then if you need the change of pace, you've got Zach Haribo coming in. Like that rules is if that's your backup midfielder. And knowing Kano, he might just start because Haribo is that guy. But man, that's a strong central midfield group.
What I'm really kind of looking at here, Ryan, you outlined the excellence that was Rhode Island's back line. I don't think that can be understated. They quietly went about their business last year, kind of because they kept drawing matches and not winning them, but they were moving well all last year. That back three plus Coque Vegas was really, really good. Plus, you have a Bacharach, you have a Zach Haribo that are more defensive minded players anyway. Of those like kind of midfield, they can get forward, but they are solid defensively. Do you think that's going to be enough to let the forward line get forward? Because we talked about with Detroit City, can they score without conceding? I feel like this back line can do it and allow the rest of the line to move forward and get into those final third chances and not just leave JJ Williams on an island.
I think I have the number right that they gave up 29 goals in 30 regular season games last year. This defense is next level. And I think what recommends it in that sense of you can just let the rest of the team do their business is it's so athletic. I'm imagining it's Hamidi Diop, Griffiow, and Frank Nodarse. Grant Stoneman will have his say. But assuming that starting back three, all of those guys are either going to bully you off the ball or have an ability to cover space that really gives you a safety net at the back.
And 8 of their 10 wins last season were win-to-nil results. So this team was very effective at just grinding out games there. I mean, they had one game at the end of last season, their 5-0 victory over Tampa Bay, which was a very good portion of the number of goals they scored across the entire regular season from that one game. But if we're going to circle one match that should be on everyone's radar is to end off the regular season this year, they're traveling away to Hartford, another team that is still upcoming in our rankings. But Kaylor, you had even mentioned it on Reddit that this number 6 spot through this number 10 spot, these were all very close within the voting from the fans.
Yeah, so let me go ahead, and I should have done this at the very top, but with the fans' votes, and I have the numbers somewhere, but the difference between 6 and 10 was the difference of less than a point. So separating those, was that 4-5 teams? Mm-hmm. Like it was less than 1 point of a difference. So the fans have all those teams jumbled up, which I feel like is pretty spot on. Ryan, you had it for me, 0.94 points from the fans separated 6 through 10. So this is where we're starting into a slog of people that are like, well, actually, I think Rhode Island misses the playoffs. And somebody else is like, well, I thought I had Rhode Island as 4. It's that close. Any final Rhode Island thoughts?
Yeah, we're getting some pushback on Nodarse here. I need that guy to end up at a club where he is playing 3,000 minutes a year. Like that guy needs to be on the pitch 24/7. I love Frank Nodarse.
I do too. To the point, okay, I know he's not a left footer, but would you put Nodarse over Diop if you're starting Stoneman?
Well, I'm going to go against myself because I do like Diop a little bit more.
Okay.
But, I mean, in the best case scenario, you've got room for the whole bunch.
Yeah, fair enough.